Welcome to our first ever podcast filming here in Kyle's studio. In this episode, you'll meet Kyle, who's our producer and director. You'll see myself, John Overy from Royal Flush, and we'll go over briefly what our vision and plan for the upcoming podcast series that we have is. We hope that you like it, hope that you're intrigued, that you tune in every week. Check it out.
All right, so we are here in the, I don't know, we should come up with a name for the studio, I think.
This could be, I think it's going to be called Kyle's Studio.
I feel like that'd be too, what's the word?
Kyle Studios, like Universal Studios.
Universal Studios,
epic,
okay.
Center of amazingness. That's what this is going to be.
It's going to be a very complex name like that and just a bunch of adjectives.
Kyle Studios.
Kyle's.
This was your thought baby here, Kyle. This was your vision. We dragged our feet on it a little bit. And how long did it take us to actually do it?
The walls got painted probably about 24 hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then, we banged it out in less than a work day.
Put it together pretty quick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, obviously, starting the Royal Flush podcast, give the viewers kind of some idea of what to expect. Because obviously, when we have the resource now, might as well put it to use. The podcast, walk me through what the goal of it's going to be.
Here's the plan and the vision. I think everybody listens to podcasts for different reasons, right? Education, maybe it's just killing time on a long drive, trying to learn something new, pure entertainment, whatever it is. From our social media standpoint, what you've been doing a great job as, our number one goal for everybody is to educate and inform them about us at Royal Flush, our technologies, and what we do, right? Mm-hmm. That's the barrier of entry for us and our strategic growth model. So we've been doing that through TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and all the social media platforms. And we feel that this is secondarily, if not one of the biggest platforms that people are gathering information and content today. So the number one goal is going to be to highlight our company, our growth plan, our strategy, our day-to-day operations, our projects, really do a longer form content creation and production of what Royal Flush is and what we're doing. We think there's a thirst out there. We think our technology is state-of-the-art, very cool. A lot of people, they might think it'd be entertaining, and that's the number one goal. The second goal, and what I think is almost more importantly, is we're going to be having ideally weekly guests from the local business community in our area, personal friends, colleagues, other entrepreneurs like us, to really highlight other businesses, their growth strategies, what they're doing in their personal lives, where they plan to be, hiccups in business that they're having now, lessons learned, just really topical day-to-day conversations with other people like us, but in different trades and industries, to hopefully have that viewership or that listener get a piqued interest or maybe the ability to learn something new or maybe take on a new task that they might not, and hopefully learn something from us and the people that we have on, and just really spark ideally a consistent listenership and viewership from what we do. So we're pretty excited about it. We think it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really cool to highlight, like you said, local businesses in the area. Obviously, it's probably going to be geared more towards a New Englander than it is, someone in Idaho.
Yep.
But I think it's definitely going to be cool to put a spotlight on small businesses, things of that nature, especially in Rhode Island, Southern Mass, stuff like that. So I think that idea is really cool, and it has some type of legs behind it.
I agree. What are you hoping to get out of this more? Kyle's going to be the man behind the camera, the voice in our ears, the producer, the director. What are you hoping to get out of all this?
I think, and we've sat down and we've talked about kind of just like ways to come up with new content, and obviously podcasts are like the next big boom, I guess, as far as social media content goes. I think there's just, you put, you and Mark, or you and a guest, or Mark and a guest in front of a camera for an hour, we're going to be able to pull some type of interesting footage or useful knowledge that maybe you didn't even, we didn't think to put in a social media post.
Absolutely.
And we'll be able to extract so much from an hour a week probably, bare minimum, that I think as far as content goes, it'd be huge for us, but also to kind of, like you said, just put a highlight on different businesses around the area, entrepreneurs. I think it's a great vessel. Royal Flush could be that vessel as far as,
Yeah.
networking, social, all that stuff.
Yeah. I think the ability for us to produce content and get clips that are cool and interesting from sitting down and having candid conversations and sparking a topic that we weren't maybe even thinking about covering, or that somebody had a point of view on, of the wildfires that are going on, right? Everybody's talking about the smoke in the air. I think being able to clip those and create content is going to be so easy, topical, grabbing of attention for us at Royal Flush. I think we've done an amazing job of pumping the content out. I think now we're going to be able to even do that tenfold. So ideally, that follower can even be more interested in what it is that we're doing or posting. That's what I'm excited about.
And one thing I think, if I were to kind of try and put my finger on as to why podcasts are becoming so popular, I think from the viewer side of things, there's like this subconscious sense of like, what's the adjective for genuine? Is it genuine? Genuinity?
Genuine? Like the singing?
Sure, yeah. But like, people can pick up on whether someone's being genuine or authentic or not. And something like a candid conversation, when it just kind of comes out, it's not planned beforehand. It's just you're kind of going with the flow of the conversation. People subconsciously pick up on that, and I think they gravitate towards that type of content. So I think this could be huge.
Yeah. So what podcasts do you like to listen to? What piques your interest?
I'm big on Joe Rogan's, obviously the Godfather of podcasts. Alex Hormozy, we've talked about a lot.
Yep.
Sports related podcasts, that's mostly just staying up to date with current events. I'd have to think about it, but it's mostly entrepreneurial podcasts, sports podcasts, and things in that realm.
Yeah. So those are the topics in your life that get your juices flowing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
it's the stuff that I want to keep up with.
Yeah. So for us and our ideal listener, it's not. I mean, I don't know if us fixing your pipes is getting anybody's juices flowing, right?
Exactly.
However, I think what our day-to-day business is and what we're doing and how we're trying to achieve, and maybe our technology, those are things that can spur the interest that might somehow be relatable to you, or maybe just some of the topics we cover that you think are interesting or cool or whatever, right? So it's not necessarily anything to do with you being interested in a unique form of plumbing or this cool high-tech underground, like it really has nothing to do with it. At the end of the day, if we can maybe pass that information along to you, so you know it, that's great too.
Yeah.
But it's more what's going on around here in the world, something interesting. I think that's the heart of any conversation in general.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And obviously just talking about topical things like what's going on in the world, all that type of stuff. My job, I feel like, is unique in the sense that I'm not, like a Joe who's going out to property managers, all that stuff, and saying, hey, here's what we do, here's some information. Where I'm obviously rarely in any videos. I'm kind of behind the screen, behind the camera, and my main focus is to get the Royal Flush logo, brand name, to as many people as possible. Yep. Whereas, like you said, us just kind of going on about the technology doesn't necessarily get as many eyeballs.
Absolutely.
Whereas something like this, a growing form of media like podcasts, get this logo in front of as many eyeballs as possible. I think that's the biggest thing right now.
I agree 1,000%. I'm super excited. I cannot wait till we actually start doing it. We're going to have as many people as we can on the show. We're going to do everybody in our company, so you'll learn more about Kyle and mention Joe and Mark, and we'll have Jim, our owner, on here, and a couple of our guys. So hopefully you can learn more about our team, who all have individual perspectives of life and things that they've done that are cool and interesting. And then we're going to start bringing in these local business people that we know that I think can really open the floodgates and hopefully be an interesting weekly podcast that people want to listen to and tune in and watch on YouTube and any platform, any phone that you have, any device. And stay tuned. We'll be seeing you soon.
Stay tuned for that Joe episode. It might last 3 hours.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be 24 hours.